Hey, do you see that? Yeah, that. Wait, leave it there. Like, comment, and subscribe. You should do it. It's free. Why not? Hello, YouTube. So what I was planning on doing today is doing a tutorial. It's kind of like a guide for a fresh wiped account, so that when people come into the game late or mid-wipe, that they can understand how they're supposed to be doing the raids, what they can target, how to quest, and how to get some good loot and avoid, combat where they need to avoid combat, and what sort of goes through my head during combat. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up my account. I'm selecting English, set my name, and then I'm going to go with USEC. Now there's two reasons I go with USEC. One, I can communicate in English. So if I want to swear at somebody in game or communicate with somebody in game, then I can talk in English. Two, it's the fact that they get the M4A1. So with the M4, you can change the front scope to an M2. Right. So we're going to go for Hudson, and we're going to go for Chris, because he looks like a Chris, right? Not Hudson, he's a Chris. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to load into a couple of raids. We're going to do a Woods as our first raid. But what we need to do first is we need to go into all the traders, examine all the items, and get to level 2. Because at level 2 we can accept the quest to unlock Jaeger. Chat is going through the roof right now, they have no idea what's going on. It's happening. We're doing the raid series. You guys asked for it. You guys shall receive. The aim for today is just to kind of do a brief overview and show you guys exactly how I approach my first few raids in Tarkov, especially during a mid or late wipe. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm examining a load of items, and late wipe you can go into fence and examine just quite a few items and just get your experience up. Middle mouse click is how you do this. So if you hover over an unexamined item, you can right click press examine, or you can middle mouse click and examine that way. Now we're not going to do loads, we're just going to get the traders done, and then we're going to go from there. Some of the parts of this video will be cut out for the YouTube video. There's no point in me repeating myself, and there's no point in showing you like the long footage of me examining every single item. I will cut out the majority of these items. I'm also going to cut out the stash management to a point. I will leave some of it in, but I'm not going to leave all of it. Only like key information when I'm talking about like how to manage your stash, where to move your gear about, useful shortcuts, and when I'm buying important items. Don't forget guys that I am streaming at twitch.tv/smudgeease. Same as my name on all these YouTube videos. So first thing you want to do, boys, we'll take off your knife, take off all your gear. Just eat all your gear into the stash, so you know what you're doing. Leave some meds on. Right, so the best thing to remember is that your commando kit rigs take up less space than they actually have in them, and then your backpacks, they can go inside of each other. So you can just drag a backpack inside of a backpack, and then you can drag more backpacks inside of that backpack. So at the moment what we're going to do is we're going to put our fuel inside this backpack, because we need our fuel. We're going to put our water, because 2 water is very important, and our MREs. Then we're going to put in our whiskey, because we're going to keep our whiskey. We need to keep the whiskey for a while. And then we're just going to fill this with a load of shit. So we can just put in, let's say, the Vaseline, another MRE, and another water, and another single slot, which can be the M67, because you need, in fact actually, both M67s, because you need those for a quest later on, and they don't need to be found in raid. So for our first raid, we're going to make sure that we spend some money with Ragman. We're going to go to Ragman, we're going to buy a balaclava. We need a balaclava anyway. We're going to go back, put the balaclava on, and put the razors on. Now we don't need, actually we're going to put the contacts. Now we don't need the razors. The razors are good, but contacts are just as good. We're going to take the packer, and we're going to take the USEC, because we don't have any helmets yet. Then what we're going to do is, I don't know if any of you have ever seen this, or if any of you have ever done it before, but since the recent patch, you can now take off the front sight of your M4, and then you can go to, I believe it was mechanic. Yep, and you can buy the MK12 gas blocks, 2 of them. This is why I love starting as a USEC, because the USECs get access to these M4s. Take off the carrying handles. And then we can go to Propel. I think it's Propel, yep. And we can buy the Cobra Sight. 2 of them. And we can buy the Cobra Sight Shade. Now the whole reason we're buying the Cobra Sight Shade is the Cobra Sight Shade gives you 3 ergonomics, and the EKP Cobra takes off 2. So what you're doing is you're getting +1 ergo for the sight. Okay, we're going to whack on an M4. And we're not going to whack on a Commando, because we haven't got many Commando rigs, and they're very, very, very valuable stash space. We're going to buy a bank robber. I'm going to slap the bank robber on. We're going to take 1 mag, 60 bullets, and then we're going to take painkillers up our bum. We're going to take bandages up our bum. In fact, actually no, we're going to take a car med kit up our bum. Don't forget the splints, because if you get a broken leg, you're in a bit of a predicament. Okay, and for now, that'll do. We're just going to sort our stash pressing this handy little button that they've added at the bottom, which will automatically sort your stash. Now, it's not the best button at the moment. It automatically does it to the top. I'd prefer it to automatically do it to the bottom. But that's what we've got for now. If you head over to mechanic, you sell these parts. They're no longer required. Now if you've noticed, we're not level 2 yet. So what we need to do is we need to go back to fence, and we're going to examine all the weapons. The reason we're examining weapons, by the way, is because weapons will help us just pick up gear a lot quicker. So if we find a weapon in raid, we obviously want to be able to pick it up. I would recommend examining some ammo as well. Okay, we should be just about level 2 now. Let's see. Yep, so we're level 2 now. So what we can do is we can accept the 5 scavs on customs and the MP133 shotguns. We can also go to Skier and check if he's got anything, and then go to Peacekeeper and check if he's got anything, and then go to Mechanic. It's good to get into a habit of checking if any of the traders have any quests for you. So once we pick up Gunsmith Part 1, we also get Introduction. Pick up Introduction so that we've got the Jaeger's Camp and the Jaeger's Message. Now what I found is that Woods now is a very, very good first map. Okay, so we've got our gear load out, and we're going to run our first map. We're going to run straight into Woods. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you select daytime. It's good to run nighttime, but it's very hard to see, and sometimes you do need night vision. If you've not got great eyesight, then yeah, I would definitely just stick to daytime. I highly recommend enabling offline if you've not played before, but if not, we're just going to go straight into the raid we've played before. We know the extracts. Going to ensure our gear. And let's start this. Right then guys, now that we're loading in, I think it's a good time to actually inform you guys of what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be loading into Woods, we're going to be trying to hit up Medical, the camp area, and we're going to try and get to Jaeger's Camp. And then we simply just want to extract. If we can kill some scouts from experience, great. But ideally, we don't want to be getting killed. Right. We seem to have a slight little bug. This isn't good for the video. Right then, we've fixed that bug. So what you want to be doing as soon as you load into raid is you want to be trying to analyse where you spawned, looking at your surroundings, and then you'll eventually learn all of the spawn locations. So right now we're spawned next to the boat with the dead scav in. which means that we've also spawned next to the camp, and there's 2 more camps just down here. You want to make sure that you're in full auto, or semi, depending on what you're doing with your gun. Full auto is very good for close quarters combat. You can check your mag with, I think it's Alt-R by default, but mine is something else because I've re-keybound it. If you press B, you can change your fire mode. And when you aim down sight, if you Alt right click, it will change the scope image. And what we're going to do is, because we've spawned next to the convoy spawns some really nice meds. So we can quickly boot this, see if we can get some good meds. What we are going to do is we're going to put the IFAC up our rear. Now these relays are insane, and that's a water filter. Late wipe, those are worth a lot of money. Fuel conditioner we can sell straight to the vendor for 37k. Water filters are roughly around 100k currently this wipe. So what we're going to do here, because our extract is going to be outskirts, which you can double check by pressing O twice, I would re-keybind it so that you press O once, and then on release it brings up the extraction points. That way you only need to tap it, and then you know your extractions instead of double tapping O. You can change that in your keybindings. Now our extract is ZB14 in outskirts, which means that we need to go that way. But we also need to go this way for Jaeger's camp. So ideally, we want to be hitting up Jaeger's camp, hitting up medical, and then getting straight to extract. Unfortunately, we have to go back on ourselves, which is a bit of a pain. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying not to run too much. Because we're a low level, we stomp, we make lots of noise, and the high levels will hear us. And we want to hear them before they hear us. So we know that those shots are coming from roughly near logs or dickhead rock. We can avoid those shots. We're not specifically here for combat right now. We're here to get this mission done and then move on to the next map. The first few missions are key to just progressing really quickly. What you don't want to do is you don't want to end up behind the curve. We're being shot at. Not quite sure where we're being shot at from, or how they've already spotted us. Presuming that we're potentially against somebody who's got thermal. Either that or we're just unlucky and it was scrap. Don't think the hat's doing us any good. Now, I've just stopped because I'm listening for audio. Trying to listen to if somebody is running after us. Best case scenario, they come running up blindly. Worst case scenario, we don't even see these guys and we have to push. The issue is we don't know if we're pushing towards them or away from them. Ideally, we want to be pushing away. From the audio cue of the bullet, it sounded like they were on my right. Oh, it's a scav player. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this time to quickly inspect everything. Insurance, fraud, our contacts. Now he has a radiator helix. We need the radiator helix. We're going to take the chest rig, because you can fit more in the chest rig. Need to examine the mags. We're going to take the bandage, because we need all the meds we can get. 50's down. I would like to put a backpack inside of everything, but we're not going to this time. We now have a scope. So that was a scout for PS ammo AK-74U. We'll take that AK-74U and we'll run it in another raid. We desperately need the gear right now. So what we can do is we can just ditch our contacts in the bush down here. Find any old bush. Press delete key when you're hovering over, and that will delete the contact onto the ground. And we'll take this opportunity to repack a mag. And repack a mag by dragging the ammo on top of the magazine. So I'll talk more about what I'm doing when I'm looting, when I get a chance, but at the moment, it's a little bit heated. There's quite a lot going on around us. Quite a lot of people on this map. Lots of shots, and we were being shot at by somebody with a thermal, which is kind of scary. So we're making our way to Jaeger's camp right now. Jaeger's camp is right next to a plane crash, near ZB-13, I believe. We should be there momentarily, as long as we don't bump into anyone. And we can sprint across here because we're out in the open. We want to be as much in cover as we can be. We want to be keeping an eye on all the stuff around us, constantly looking around, paying attention to where we are. This is a heavy PvP spot. There could be lots of players around here. Okay, there's the plane. Okay, let's head over to the plane and grab our letter. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have a fight to try and get these Salewers. So what we're aiming for in this raid is we're aiming to get the Jaeger's camp, 3 Salewers, which we can grab from the middle, and then any other raid that we can potentially grab. In fact, to be honest with you, we could take the car medkit out. We've put the fuel conditioner in, and then we've made profit already. Rekeybind our meds. The car medkit classifies as a bandage and meds. So it will bandage a light bleed, but not a heavy bleed. Okay, so we've got our letter. And we know someone's over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to head up into the woods, because we want to be going this way, into the camp. I'm kind of hoping that this person moves towards us. And then that way we can either get some free gear, or we can just wait it out until they leave. So what we're aiming for is we need to be in there. Just over there, in that camp. Bunch of Salewers over there. There's also some Vaseline and some much needed meds. For a fresh account, that camp's great. The problem is that there will be a lot of PvP on Fresh Wipe, so Fresh Wipe you may want to stay away from that camp. fresh wipe, you may actually just be better off hitting up the houses than the outskirts of the map. As you can see, lots of activity over there. That one dead meme, hey dude, welcome to chat. How's it going, man? Right, so we're listening to this audio over in this camp. We know that there's a couple of players. We have two choices. We can push into this camp, we can take this fight, and we can try and get our Salewers. Or we can take our introduction, we can get the hell out, take the XP that we get from surviving, and then get straight back into another raid. So what we're going to do, because we've got limited gear, we've got limited meds, we've got some good items, is we're going to shoot at a scav and make ourselves known to everyone. We completely whiffed every shot then, didn't we? Okay, right, we've given ourselves away, let's reposition. We're not going to go in there. We've made too much noise, they know we're here. We're going to rotate back round. And we're going to go through the buildings, see if we can pick up some food and water. The problem we have with being a fresh account is that our metabolism is low. So the way we need to level up our metabolism is by eating and drinking. And we can find lots of food and water inside the village. So we need to be aiming for that. Remember, we're not here to fight everyone. We're here to get these first starting quests done, get ahead of the curve, and then once we're ahead of the curve, you can then have the decent ammo, decent guns, and come into raid prepared for a PvP fight. Start going for the PvP fight straight away at level 1, and you'll find out that your stash ends up emptier faster than you can say supercalifragilistic. Okay, so we've got contact. Let's see what he does. See if we can reposition and kill this guy. See this guy? So what we're listening for right now is we're listening for audio cues from him. So the issue is that he may know that we're here. We have no idea where this guy's gone. I assume that this guy would have gone for the stash, which is in that corner. Doesn't look like he has. I don't know why he went forwards and then went back and then went forwards. Really weird behaviour. Like he was heading this way. Then he just decided to double back on himself. Okay. It's not worth risking everything. Just to get one kill. If we can't guarantee where this guy is, we shouldn't take the fight. I was working on the basis that we saw him. We knew exactly where he was. So we're not going to take this fight, we're going to move on.
Is that your new logo?
No. It's my subscriber icon. Hello. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, it's your subscriber.
Right, so when we get to this village, which is just down this road, there's going to be a bunch of scavs in here. They're either going to be dead or they're going to be alive. And if they're dead, we know that somebody's potentially in this camp. If they're alive, we're going to have a fight on our hands. There's 2 alive, 1 dead. Someone's been here, but they're no longer here. Okay, so you want to change to single fire. Wait for the scavs to calm down. And then we're going to kill them both. Now the issue we've got is there's 2 scavs, one of them's now hidden. And the other one's doing a marathon in the other direction. Great. Nothing's going to plan this video, dude. Tarkov being Tarkov. Okay, the scav's coming back. One scav down. Two scavs down. No, we're not going to loot those scavs because they're in the open. We'll loot them in a minute. But the loud shots will have alerted everyone around us to come out. Like ringing the dinner bell, boys. Everyone's going to come after us now. There we go. Just looking for food and water. Could do with some ammunition. BT bullets, they'll do. Very good rounds for the AK. Now the condensed milk is worth about 17k, which is more than the IFAC. However, we're not going to swap it because the IFAC is more valuable to us at the start of the fight. And on a fresh account, it's very hard to find meds. That duffel bag was already searched because it said close, and we already know someone's been here and searched his toolbox. The chances that we're going to find anything in these buildings is very slim. There's another scav in front of us. Okay, that scav went down. I'm not going to engage it. We can't see it. And all it'll do is lay down in the grass and shoot at us. Make sure that you examine everything. The best way to examine is by middle mouse click. Bushes. Somebody's coming. This is why I said the M4 is good. Slap on the full auto and anybody that walks with it in front of you, just mow them down. Don't worry about ammo. 855 is dirt cheap. You can buy it from Peacekeeper. Do not be conservative with your ammo. There is no need. You surviving is far more important. Alright, so our food and hunger, which is down here, below the scabbard, we're good. 87 and 73 is perfect. So we're going to loot the scabs and we're going to get out. Always make sure to check how much ammo you've got in a magazine. Okay, this is amazing for us. This is really big. So I found a wallet. You can put money inside a wallet. If you keep one of these, you can put all the money that you're acquiring in and out of raid into a wallet. It takes up one slot. I believe this is SMB. PS. I'll take it anyway.
Пацан готов.
Scav. This scav's got armor. We're going to drop our pack and we're going to take this armor. This is level 4 armor. We're just going to perform some insurance fraud and take it with a knife. The reason we're taking the knife, by the way, is because it trades for an MP5. Or a P22. Ah, you see, I'd love to take that shotgun, but we can't. I'll take the knife. Alright, let's loot the last scav and get out. Huh. Okay, the last scav had some condor glasses. They've got armor. Armor class 1. They can actually ricochet a bullet. Which is pretty insane. Okay, so we're going to run for cover now that we've killed those scavs. We've made a lot of noise in this area. And what we're going to do is find somewhere nice, sit down, pack a mag. The reason we're packing a mag is we don't know who we're going to bump into, so we're taking our time. We're in no rush to get out. We've got plenty of food and water, and we just want to work our way around the outside of the map. We want to avoid all the main loot spots. We've got Jaeger's note. We've got quite a lot of loot for our first raid, and we want to avoid that thermal guy that shot at us at the beginning. So now we're hearing pistol shots in front of us. Sounds like a PM. Safe to say it's probably a scav. But we're not interested. We're going round. We're full. They have nothing on them that we could want or need. What we will do though is as we're walking around, we'll position ourselves so that we can always see where those shots are coming from. One thing to keep an eye on is at the bottom left here, that's your weight. If that gets into the yellow, you have to crouch to gain back your stamina. Which means you can get caught out at really, really, really bad moments. Where you run out of stamina, you can't run, and someone starts shooting at you. You just gotta pray that your aim's better than theirs. Okay, we're back where we got shot at by the thermal guy. Not a very nice guy. I'm here making a YouTube video and he's shooting at me with a thermal. So what we're doing now is we're sticking to areas where there's literally no people. Taking a path that not many people take. Making our way to CB14 and outskirts. So what we've done is we've avoided the big sniper rock where everyone can sit. We've avoided all the major loot spots. We've avoided being out of the trees for too long. Just trying to keep ourselves covered, getting from point A to point B. Here's the risky part. We've got the camp on our right. Needed for a Jaeger quest later on. We'll not the compass. Some people like to sit up on this hill and look down to that camp to get shootable and heaven complete. We are, however, quite late into raid now, so there shouldn't be too many people around. Two more scav players fighting it out. Now I want to avoid being out in the open like we are right now for very long. The good thing about this spot is that you can see literally everything in this open area before you cross, so you know that you're relatively safe. You stay away from that power pylon because that's the minefield behind it. To our left is the checkpoint. There's a suicide rock and dickhead rock. Suicide's just there, dickhead's there, big grey's there. Very close to CB14 right now. Just got to go past this rock, the next rock, and then follow the wall. Now I like to follow the wall on the right hand side now that they've added that because there's less traffic down there and no scavs go back there. So you can avoid all the scavs that sit inside the bush and wait for you to come down here. But it is also where all the players go. Okay. We'll go check if CB14 is open. We don't have the key, but somebody may have opened it already. So the best way to look for the mines is to look for these symbols here. With the skull and crossbones, they tend to mean it's mines ahead. And this rock here is where ZB14 is. You can see that it's opened by this green smoke. Check your surroundings, be careful that you come in and go into the ground. Okay, it's not been opened, but I'm glad we checked because there's an IFAK. And a helix. And somebody's already been down here as well. So be careful when you come out of here. There's a scout. Okay, we don't need this scout, so we're just gonna loop round. If we get a good shot on the scout, then great. We'll take it for the XP. We don't need it. Try not to be too fixated on the scout, but always keep your eyes out for them. But we also need to be careful that we're not running into the minefield and not walking up to a player that's walking the same way as us. This here is Scav House. There's normally like 2 to 3 scavs outside of it. And there we go, we can see our scav. It's coming back. We're in quite a safe spot that we can actually just wait for this guy to run back. Is that scav down? Oh god. There's another one. Like I said, 2 to 3. The last thing we want to do is die to a scav this late in the race. So what we're going to do is we're going to back off a little bit. And then rotate out. Lose line of sight of the scav, they'll stop shooting at you. Again, remember to avoid the mines. They're just down here on the right. Up close, but not too close. We're looking for the car. There's a mine symbol right there. And there's the car in front of us. If you go anywhere near that vehicle, it's outskirts. Okay, so apart from the player scav that we saw, we actually saw 0 players. Woods can be quite quiet. I doubt it'll be quiet on a fresh wipe, because I reckon a lot of people will be running it for the Salewas in the camp, and for the houses around the outskirts, specifically for the food and the nuts and bolts. Some people may be going to the middle to try and get an early Sturman kill to get an SVD, and some of the raid loot. So it's all about just playing slow, take your time, listen to sounds and audio cues, and don't rush. Just remember to stay in cover. When you get a kill, maybe don't go loot it straight away. Wait for people to push you, and then loot later on once you know that you're in the clear. Right. So we did exactly 1,000 damage to the body. Interesting. So that first raid got us from level 2 to level 3.25. And then we've got the quest to hand in, which will probably get us close to level 3, if not level 3. Also unlocks Jaeger, which unlocks the ability to buy the OP SKS, and you can buy the PSO scope from Prapor. Start the PSO scope and you've basically got a budget sniper rifle at the start of the game. Right, so we've got a water filter that we're going to save for later that we're going to sell on the flea market. We've got a wallet that we're going to save for our money. fuel conditioner that we're going to sell right now. The knives, I don't like the pistol that you get from the knife, so I'm just going to sell them straight away. The relay and that we need for our stash. The AK mags are good AK mags for the start. We should keep them. The AK-74U we should also keep for another raid. Cotton bean is a capper item. You can choose to keep this for the capper handing if you're going to plan on doing all the quests. If not, just sell it. We're going to take off these glasses. We're going to save them until level 10 when they're worth 30k. They're not going to save our life. They may do, but who knows. I'm going to put the car med kit and everything back up our bum. I'm going to grab some more M855. Dump this rig in and we're going to repair our chest rig. Which we can't because we didn't take enough damage, which is fine. Make sure to refill all your mags, make sure you've got the ammo and your meds. And then don't forget to eat and drink. So we'll eat some of this Tushonka. We'll drink some water so that we're full for the next raid. And then we go to dealers. I believe that it was mechanic. Turn in introduction. If you go into raid and die, you will lose that quest item and therefore you will fail the quest and have to go back into woods. So that actually got us all the way to level 4 and unlocked Jaeger. So we can examine all the items that Jaeger's got for us. Do not buy the compass. You get it from a quest. There's no need. Let's go to Jaeger's tasks and accept acquaintance. Now what we need to keep an eye out for is lunchboxes, Amelia Rye croutons and beef stew. Now the Amelia Rye croutons, they're the pink ones, but they'll have a golden tick next to them. So where the found in raid tick is here, where it says item found in raid, that means you can sell it on the flea. But if that tick is golden instead of silver, then that means that you can hand it in and it's required for a quest. So you know it's a quest item and that you should take it. Unless you already know that you've done that quest and you don't need the quest item anymore. So what Jaeger sells is he sells us some pretty nifty stuff. So he sells us the OPSKS mount, which allows us to put scopes on there. He sells us the Cobra mount, which allows us to put scopes on a lot of guns. Okay, perfect. So now that we've examined everything and we've handed in all of our quests, we've emptied our guy's gear. We just want to make sure that we sell everything that we're not going to need. Now ideally we want to level Jaeger up and we want to level Therapist up. Therapist is very important, so we're going to sell our fuel conditioner and our condensed milk to Therapist. And we're going to go to our hideout and just double check what we actually need to upgrade. Now the hideout gives you lots of passive abilities, like you regen your food and water faster, and you can craft certain items that you need for quests. Everything that you craft is found in raid, so it's always good to upgrade your hideout, unless you're solely focusing on PvP. So for our security we need medical tape, so we need to keep an eye out for medical tape. For our medical, we need a syringe and meds, so we need to keep an eye out for syringe and meds. For our rest space, we need duct tape, so we need to keep an eye out for duct tape. And heating, we need 2 matches. So these are items we should be looking to pick up in raid as soon as possible. And the same with toilet paper, toothpaste and soap. If we can get out of those items, they're big. They're very helpful. Same with 2 bolts. And 2 nuts. And 1 of these, which you can buy from a trader. You can't find these in raid, don't keep looking for it in raid. The Leatherman's multi-tool is sold, and it's sold by, I believe, Skier. I am wrong. Is it last one? Yeah, Mechanic. 23k. So just remember, you don't need to buy that straight away. You can buy that once you've got the other parts. Don't let it take up stash space for no reason. If you want to get rid of these alerts, just left click the green tags. That immediately gets rid of any alerts. Once you've handed in the quest giver will send you a message with a quest reward. Don't forget to claim it. You don't have very long to claim them. Right, so it looks like we're all good to go into another raid. What we want to be looking at is we want to click tasks here. Look at our tasks and see where the location is. The location says customs for this one, and it says kill 5 scouts on customs. This map is any because it's literally just to find a gun and mod it. This is any because it's to find some certain materials and hand it in. So what we can focus on now is getting those 5 scout kills in customs and getting to level 5. Alright, let's load into customs. Right then guys, now that we've done the whole prep, we've done the first raid, we've gone through how to loot some of the items that we should be looking for and at the cost of certain items. We now know where we need to be going. We've got a goal for the tasks. I'm going to call it here. I'm going to upload this as the first of my raid series. If you like it, please leave a like and a comment. Give me some pointers, some tips, how I can improve, anything you want to know. Ask me questions on the YouTube video. I'd really appreciate it. And then maybe we can get some guidance going on to what we need to be covering in these raid videos. On day 2, when I do my next video, I'll be going into customs. We're just going to roll with the punches. Hopefully we survive. Hopefully we survive lots of raids. But if we die, then we die. It's Escape from Tarkov. You die a lot. And what we need to do is just get into the mentality that if we die, we just need to go back into raid. And we'll go through that. Hopefully in day 2, we'll have some good raids, and we'll see what happens. Catch you guys soon.